Today we expose the real butter brands Canadian consumers need to avoid. The stuff you thought was safe is owned by foreign corporations, connected to organized crime, and part of a system that dumps billions of liters of milk while overcharging you. We analyzed every major butter brand sold in Canadian supermarkets, dug through corporate ownership records, exposed the companies behind your favorite brands, and examined a peer-reviewed study that revealed the dairy industry's darkest secret. And what we found in our investigation will change how you shop for butter forever. Number 1. Lactantia, Canada's most trusted butter brand that isn't Canadian anymore. Lactantia is everywhere in Canadian supermarkets. It's the #1 selling national butter brand in the entire country. It wins the Brand Spark Most Trusted Award year after year. Canadians have been buying it for generations, trusting the name their grandparents trusted, that familiar packaging with the blue cow logo from Dairy Farmers of Canada. But Lactantia isn't a Canadian company anymore. The brand was founded in 1947 by a Quebec farmer named Lionel Baudet, a genuine Canadian success story, the first Canadian butter maker to use aluminum wrapping. But in 1997, Lactantia was bought by Parmalat Canada. In 2011, French giant Lactalis Group bought Parmalat for €2.5 billion. Lactantia became property of a foreign corporation. There's nothing Canadian about Lactantia anymore except the cows. Your money goes to the Besnier family in France. Lactalis Group is the world's largest dairy company, a corporation with 198 factories in 55 countries that treats Canadian butter as just another product line. Lactantia was caught up in buttergate. In 2021, Canadians noticed their butter wasn't softening at room temperature. Calgary food writer Julie Van Rosendaal posted about it on Twitter. The response was overwhelming. Hundreds of Canadians reported the same problem: butter that crumbled instead of spread, butter that stayed hard even after sitting out. Food experts traced the problem to palm oil, fed to dairy cows to boost milk fat production. The same supply chain feeding Lactantia's production was affected. The company never told consumers which products were affected. They never apologized. Palm oil production is linked to serious environmental damage. Rainforest clearing in Indonesia and Malaysia, and it was secretly entering Canadian butter through cow feed. But the foreign ownership brings other concerns. In 2020, reports came out that 38 of Lactalis's factories in France had broken environmental rules. Not one factory, 38 factories breaking the rules for years. In July 2023, Lactalis Australia was fined nearly $1 million for breaking the Dairy Code of Conduct. 93% of Canadian households have purchased at least one Lactalis product. That's the reach of this company. That's how many Canadians are unknowingly sending their money to a French corporation with a troubled track record. You thought you were buying Canada's most trusted butter? You were actually funding a foreign corporation that hid palm oil contamination and never told you. Number 2. Natrel, Quebec's premium butter caught up in buttergate. Natrel positions itself as the premium choice. Made by AgroPur, the Quebec-based dairy co-op. 100% Canadian milk. Organic options, the kind of butter you buy when you want something better than the mass market brands. Premium packaging, premium prices. But in 2021, Natrel's parent company was caught up in the buttergate scandal. Butter that crumbled instead of spread. Butter that stayed hard even after sitting out. The New York Times covered it. The BBC covered it. Celebrity food writer Nigella Lawson tweeted about it. The Dairy Farmers of Canada first denied anything had changed. Then on February 19, 2021, they admitted that palm products were being added to dairy cow feed. Then they asked farmers to stop. A complete reversal under public pressure. AgroPur, Natrel's parent company, released a statement welcoming Quebec dairy farmers' decision to stop using palm products. But they never admitted their own role. Here's what makes Buttergate so troubling. The industry knew exactly what they were doing. Palm products boost milk fat content. Higher fat content means more money per liter. Farmers were pushed to use palm products because the payment system rewards fat content. Your butter quality suffered, so farmers could make more money. You thought you were buying Quebec's finest butter. You were actually buying a product from a company that hid palm oil contamination and never apologized. Number 3, Beatrice, another beloved Canadian name hiding the same French owner. Beatrice has been in Canadian fridges for generations. Milk, butter, cheese, the kind of brand that feels truly Canadian. Founded as a Canadian company in 1969, separated from its American parent in 1978. But Beatrice Foods Canada is now owned by Lactalis, the exact same French giant that owns Lactantia, the exact same corporation with 38 factories breaking environmental rules, the exact same foreign company sending Canadian dairy profits to France. In 1997, Beatrice was bought by Parmalat Canada. When Lactalis bought Parmalat in 2011, Beatrice became part of the French dairy empire. The Wikipedia page for Beatrice Foods Canada states plainly that it is now a part of Lactalis Canada. So when you choose Beatrice butter instead of Lactantia, thinking you're getting a different product from a different company, you're not. You're getting the exact same corporate parent, the exact same owner, the exact same profit pipeline to France. The Beatrice name was dropped from products after the Parmalat purchase, but brought back in late 2005 during the parent company's fraud investigation. They brought back the trusted Canadian name exactly when the parent company was in trouble. That's not coincidence. That's branding designed to hide corporate scandal. When you buy Beatrice butter, you're supporting the same company behind Lactantia. Two different packages, same foreign owner, same money leaving Canada. If you found value in this investigation so far, subscribe and hit the notification bell. We're about to expose a company with documented connections to organized crime and reveal the broken system behind every Canadian butter brand. You won't want to miss this. Number 4. Gay-Lee, the farmer co-op where workers unionized to escape unfair treatment. Gay-Lee markets itself as Born on the Farm, a co-op owned by over 1,300 dairy farms across Ontario and Manitoba. The kind of butter that feels trustworthy because it's owned by actual Canadian farmers, not big corporations. Their marketing shows happy cows and green farmland, community values, Canadian owned and operated. But in July 2024, over 50 workers from Gay-Lee's Brampton facility voted to join the United Food and Commercial Workers Union. The reason? According to the UFCW press release, workers joined due to unfair treatment from management, including harsh discipline, benefit problems, and rising costs, and a lack of fair representation. When your own workers feel so mistreated they need union protection, something is seriously wrong with your company culture. Being owned by farmers doesn't guarantee fair treatment for the people actually making and shipping your products. But the worker issues are just the surface. Gay-Lee operates within Canada's supply management system, a protected market where import taxes on butter reach 298%. That's not a typo. Nearly triple the value of the product in taxes to keep foreign butter out. The result? Canadian households pay about $500 more every year for dairy products than they would without supply management, according to a McGill University study. The OECD estimated Canadian dairy policies cost consumers $2.7 billion annually. Gay-Lee also got caught up in Buttergate. When consumers complained about hard butter in 2021, Gay-Lee's CEO said they would support the Dairy Farmers of Canada investigation, not that they would stop using palm products, not that they would be honest about it, just that they would support an investigation by the industry group that first denied the problem existed. The co-op structure means profits go to dairy farmer members. Good for them. But those profits come from Canadian consumers paying high prices, while workers at Gay-Lee facilities organize unions just to get fair treatment. And here's the irony. Gay-Lee's marketing says their farmer owners care about quality and community. But caring about community should include caring about the workers who make your products. When your staff feels so mistreated, they vote to unionize, the community values in your marketing ring hollow. Number 5. Dairyland, Western Canada's staple owned by a company with documented organized crime connections. Dairyland has been in Western Canadian fridges for over a century. The familiar packaging, the trusted name, a brand that feels like it belongs to British Columbia. Generations of families have grown up with Dairyland in their fridges, but Dairyland is owned by Saputo Inc., a Montreal-based dairy giant. And Saputo has a history that most consumers never hear about. In March 2008, Saputo Inc. launched 3 lawsuits against Canadian newspapers over stories published in December 2007. The stories hinted that company founder Lino Saputo was linked to organized crime. The Wikipedia entry for Saputo Inc. states plainly that links between Lino Saputo and American mobster Joe Bonanno have been shown between 1964 and 1979. Documented connections to the Bonanno crime family, one of America's 5 families of organized crime. Saputo sued newspapers for reporting this, but they didn't sue Wikipedia for stating it as fact. Saputo is now a massive corporation with 198 factories. They have more foreign plants than Canadian ones. Over half their revenue comes from outside Canada. They've invested heavily in the United States, Argentina, Australia, and Europe. The Globe and Mail reported in 2013 that Saputo can't easily export Canadian dairy because Canadian milk is seen as government-supported under World Trade Organization rules. So instead of creating Canadian jobs, they invest offshore. Your Dairyland butter supports a company that has chosen to grow everywhere except Canada, a company with documented historical connections to organized crime, a company that sued newspapers for reporting those connections. In 2001, Saputo bought Dairy World Foods, which owned the Dairyland brand, for $407 million Canadian dollars, a beloved Western Canadian brand taken over by a corporation with a troubled past. The Saputo family built a dairy empire, but the foundation of that empire has been questioned repeatedly in Canadian media. And rather than address the claims openly, they chose lawsuits. Number 6. President's Choice. The store brand where you never know who actually made it. President's Choice. Loblaws Private Label brand. The packaging that suggests premium quality at everyday prices. Available at Loblaws, No Frills, Real Canadian Superstore, and other Loblaw stores across Canada. The yellow and black packaging designed to look premium. But President's Choice butter is a mystery product. When you buy PC butter, you have no idea which dairy company actually made it. Loblaws contracts with various suppliers. That supplier can change without notice. One batch might come from one company, the next batch from another entirely. National brands maintain consistent sourcing to protect their reputation. Store brands have no such obligation. They source from whoever offers the cheapest price that week. President's Choice is owned by Loblaw Companies Limited, Canada's largest grocery retailer, a company that took part in an industry-wide bread price-fixing scandal that lasted over 14 years. Loblaws admitted to the scheme and offered customers $25 gift cards as payment. A company caught fixing bread prices for 14 years doesn't inspire confidence about their butter sourcing practices. Consumer reviews on Trustpilot reveal mixed experiences with President's Choice products. One reviewer complained that PC Butterpuff pastry contains vegetable oil, calling the ingredients shameful. Others noted falling quality standards across multiple PC products. The responsibility with store brands becomes unclear. When something goes wrong, who's to blame? The supplier who made it? The retailer who branded it? In that unclear zone, quality standards slip. You thought you were buying premium quality at everyday prices. You're actually buying a mystery product from unknown suppliers who change based on who offers Loblaws the cheapest deal. And here's the thing about store brands. When a national brand has a quality problem, their reputation is on the line. They have every reason to maintain quality because their brand is their entire business. When a store brand has issues, the supermarket can simply switch suppliers. The responsibility disappears into the supply chain. Number 7, Organic Meadow. Premium organic prices hiding a broken system. Organic Meadow positions itself as the ethical choice. Farm imagery on the packaging. Organic label clearly displayed. Happy cows grazing on green pastures. The kind of butter you buy when you're willing to pay extra for quality you can trust, when you want to feel good about your purchase. But organic labels don't fix the basic problems with Canadian dairy. A scientific study published in October 2024 in a research journal found that Canadian dairy farms have dumped over 6.8 billion liters of milk since 2012. Some estimates suggest the figure could be as high as 10 billion liters. 6.8 billion liters. Enough milk to feed 4.2 million Canadians every year. 11% of the entire population. Wasted while families struggle with hunger. The retail value of that wasted milk? $6.7 billion. The environmental cost? 8.4 million tons of CO2 every year, equal to adding 350,000 cars to Canadian roads. Professor Sylvain Charlebois from Dalhousie University, one of the study's authors, put it bluntly. If you're wasting 7% of the milk you produce, you can only conclude that milk is too expensive in Canada. Organic Meadow operates within this broken system. They charge premium prices for organic butter. But the supply management system behind them wastes billions of liters of milk, keeps prices high through 298% import taxes, and dumps extra milk rather than letting prices fall. The dairy farmers of Canada first responded to the study by claiming the conclusions were based on estimates rather than solid data. But the scientific research was clear. The system designed to prevent waste is actually creating it. Paying extra for organic doesn't fix the rot at the heart of Canadian dairy. It just costs you more to take part in the same broken system. The organic label means the cows weren't given antibiotics or growth hormones. It means the feed was organic. Those are good things. But it doesn't mean the milk wasn't dumped. It doesn't mean consumers aren't paying high prices. It doesn't mean the supply management system isn't seriously broken. You're paying premium prices for organic butter, while the system behind it wastes enough milk to feed millions of Canadians every year. The broader picture is this: Canadian butter isn't what you think it is. The most trusted brand is owned by a French corporation with a troubled track record. Two major brands, Lactantia and Beatrice, send your money to the same foreign company. A farmer co-op treats workers so poorly they unionized for protection. A century-old Western Canadian brand is owned by a company with documented organized crime connections. Store brands source from mystery suppliers, and the entire system wastes billions of liters of milk while charging you some of the highest dairy prices in the developed world. Canada's supply management was supposed to guarantee quality and fair prices. Instead, it created a protected market where foreign corporations bought up beloved Canadian brands, where billions of liters of milk get dumped, where palm oil sneaks into butter through cow feed, and where consumers pay $500 more every year than they should. So what does this mean for you? Look for small regional creameries that are open about their practices. Sterling Creamery in Ontario still produces premium cultured butter the traditional way. Farmers markets often sell butter from local producers you can actually talk to, ask questions, find out where your butter really comes from. If you must buy mainstream butter, at least check the corporate ownership. See if your money is going to Canadian farmers or foreign corporations. Look for the Blue Cow logo, though understand it doesn't solve all the problems with the system. Consider quality over quantity. The Canadian dairy industry wants you to believe supply management protects quality and supports farmers. But the reality is foreign corporations now own our most trusted brands. Billions of liters of milk get dumped, and you pay some of the highest dairy prices in the developed world. Which brand surprised you the most? Drop your experience in the comments. And if you want to watch a video like this one, click the video on the screen. Thanks for watching.